Good morning, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you for joining me for practice today. For class, we have a 60-minute Vinyasa flow with a focus on arm and core strengthening and balance postures today. This is an all levels class, so I will be providing modifications along the way so that yogis of any experience level can find a path that works for them. With arm and core strengthening and stability, it's really important because our core connects both halves of our bodies. And so it's really nice to bring some more awareness to that area just to stabilize and to remind us of how important that area of the body is. And it's great just to strengthen, warm up, and loosen up our arms and shoulder area. Really opening up the shoulders and the chest today will be a lot of fun. So I want to thank you all so much for joining me. As far as props, nothing is totally necessary today. If you typically do have a bolster or towel or anything like that to prop you up, feel free to find that and just place it to the side of the mat. Otherwise, nothing is totally necessary today. So I want to thank you all again for joining me, and we will get started now in a cross-legged seat. So find your nice, comfortable seat to get started. If you're choosing legs crossed, have your ankles underneath your knees, root down through your sit bones, rise up through the crown of your head, softening your shoulders down away from your ears. Resting your hands wherever they fall most naturally. We'll take a couple breaths here to transition into our practice. And at the end of our movement practice, which will be the majority today, if we have time, we'll move through a gentle pranayama breath work to complete our practice at the end. But for now, just find your space, find your body, settle in, focusing on your breath here. Allow yourself to find nice, slow, deep inhales and soft, mindful exhales. Taking time just to transition, allowing yourself to find space on your mat here. Taking 3 to 4 more breaths on your own. Take one more breath here. Now gently blink your eyes open if they were closed. Release your arms down to the sides. Hi, Coney. On your next inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead, palms face each other. And exhale, release the arms out and down softly to the sides. 3 more times. Inhale, raise your arms out and up overhead. Exhale, arms out and down. Twice more. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. As they raise up, soften those shoulders down. And exhale, release the arms out and down. Once more. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, arms out and down. Let's continue adding a twist. So inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, turn to the right, release the arms to the outside. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, twist to the left. One more, each side. Inhale, arms up, back to center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back through center. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back through center. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Let's switch whichever shin is in front, stay in your cross-legged seat. Adding a side bend now. So arms out to the side, find your seat, find your sit bones. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, drop your left fingertips to the mat. Keep both sit bones rooted. Inhale, send those right fingertips to the sky. And exhale, side bend to the left side. Keep the shoulders, keep the pelvis facing forward. Keep that right sit bone rooted. It always wants to pop up. And if you'd like, maybe you walk those left fingertips out, keeping the bicep next to the ear. Maybe you turn your neck to look up towards the sky. Hold here for one more breath. On your inhale, use your abdominal muscles to lift yourself back up, both arms overhead. Drop the right fingertips down this time. Inhale, send those left fingertips up towards the sky. And exhale, side bend to the right side this time. Same thing, keep that left sit bone rooted, lengthening through both sides of the body. Keeping the bicep next to the ear. If you'd like, you can walk those right fingertips out. Try to keep the shoulders and the pelvis facing forward. Maybe you turn your neck for one more breath here. Let's inhale, raise the arms back up overhead, back through center, and exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right, now extending the arms straight out to a T shape, working our internal and external rotation. Start by internal. So in our neutral, we have our palms down. Internally rotating from the shoulder socket, palms come back, thumbs face down. Now gently release back through neutral, and external rotation is the opposite. Palms come up, thumbs face back. Let's release back through neutral one more time each way. So internally rotate, thumbs down, palms back. Releasing through neutral, and external rotation, palms up, thumbs back, rotating from that shoulder socket. Gently release back through neutral. Let's do opposite on each side. Left arm, internal rotation, right arm, external rotation. Hold here for a breath. And gently release back through center. Switch, internal right arm, external left arm. Remember, rotating from the shoulder socket, holding here. Release back through neutral one more time each way. So internal left, external right. Try to keep a nice long spine here. Avoid rotating or bending. Releasing back through neutral one more time. Internal right, external left. Holding here. And releasing back through neutral, arms down to the sides. All right, little wrist work, interlacing the fingers together. Bring the wrists to touch, elbows close together. Raising your elbows up to shoulder height. And start to rotate in your circles. Starting in one direction. Nice, slow, and controlled. Throughout class today, we will be relying on the wrist for a lot of our arm balances, but we'll have the option to drop down to our forearms if the wrists become a little too fatigued. All right, slow it down, move in the opposite direction. So for now, we'll do a lot of work to warm them up, make sure they're ready to go. All right, slow it down. Remember which thumb is on top. Release the fingers. Re-interlace your fingers. Opposite thumb on top. Wrists together, elbows up. Rotate in your first direction. And slow it down. Opposite direction. All right, slow it down. Release the fingers out to the sides. And now place your arms beside your hips. Extend your legs forward in front of you. Bear sit. So here I'm on my sit bones, my knees are still bent, but my heels are wider than my hips. With my arms down to the sides, make sure I still have a nice long spine. And here a little bit of internal and external rotation at the hip socket. So internally rotate by bringing the knees towards each other, the toes towards each other. And exhale, open. So the heels stay exactly where they are. It's just the knees and the toes that move. So internal rotation, knees and toes towards each other. And externally open. Two more times each way. If when you internally rotate, your knees touch, just separate your legs out slightly wider. Externally rotate. One more time. Internal and external. Nice. All right, recross your legs. We'll come in through tabletop. Either roll over your knees or send your legs off to the side. We'll all meet in tabletop here. Finding your foundation here, this will be the setup for what we're working towards today. So let's make sure we take the time to remind ourselves good alignment here. We have our wrists directly underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips, tops of the feet to the mat. Hips, knees, tops of the feet all in one line, with your shoulders directly over your wrists, fingers nice and spread, wrist creases lined up with the short edge of your mat or slightly turned out. Start to engage the muscles in your arms and firm the outer upper arms in so the elbow creases face forward. Drawing the navel in and up, tailbone draws down towards the backs of the heels. Slight press of the tops of the feet and the shins into the mat, engaging the legs, taking a little weight out of the arms. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Move through our cow-cat. So on your inhale, drop the navel, tailbone lifts, heart forward, look up. Exhale, round into your cat pose. Inhale, heart forward, navel drops, look up. Exhale, reverse, tuck the tailbone, shoulders separate, crown of the head draws down. 2 more times each way on your breath, inhaling through your cow pose. Exhale through your cat. Once more, inhale cow. And exhale cat. Wind those shoulder blades. All right, gently release back through neutral, adding a twist. Extend the right arm out to the side. Inhale as you open the chest, right fingertips to the sky. Exhale, lower and send that right arm under and through, lowering that right shoulder. 3 more times. Inhale, raise, fingertips to the sky. And exhale, drop the shoulders, send that right arm under and through. Twice more. Inhale, open. Hey, Coney. Exhale, under. Once more. Inhale, open. And exhale, under. Release back through your tabletop. Recenter. We'll switch to the other side. So left arm extends out. Inhale as you open the chest. Left fingertips to the sky. Exhale, send that left arm under and through. Palm faces up. Inhale, open. And exhale, under. Twice more. Inhale, opening up the chest. Exhale, send that arm under and through. 1 more time. Inhale, open, left fingertips to the sky. And exhale, under and through. Gently release back through tabletop. Knees and tops of the feet to the mat. Send your hips back to your heels. Keep your chest up though. Come into Virasana pose. So with your hips resting on your heels, if this is a little too much, you can place a block in between your feet or even a towel in between your hips and your heels to give you a little more elevation, or cross your legs. Just adding a little more wrist work again. So let's bring the backs of our hands to the mat next to our knees so the fingers face back, palms face up. You can still do this even with your cross-legged knees. Just place your arms beside your knees. All right, gently start to lift your hips up and back. And we'll rock forward and back, maintaining the entire back of the hand, if you can, on the mat, just to give our wrists a little stretch here. All right, gently slow that down, lift your torso up, and we'll reverse. So lifting your arms up now, place the palms to the mat, fingers behind. So fingers face back towards the feet, wrists are up next to the knees, entire palm is on the mat. Try to maintain that, slight bend in the elbows if you need, and same thing, let's rock forward and back, nice, slow, and controlled. All right, gently slow that down. Lift your torso back up, coming back through tabletop. Just shifting forward, wrist back underneath the shoulders. Let's pitter patter our feet just to bring some blood flow back in the legs. So just make some noise with the tops of your feet back there. All right, slow it down back to tabletop. Now starting here, just adding a little movement. So starting in tabletop, we'll shift our hips back to our heels, keep our hands right where they are, almost to our child's pose, but then we'll inhale, come right back up through tabletop. So just some gentle movement here. So inhale as you shift your hips back to your heels. Exhale back through tabletop. Twice more, just like that. Inhale, shifting back. Exhale forward. Once more. Inhale, shift back. And exhale forward. Now, option to advance or repeat that. If you're advancing, we'll extend the right leg back, extend the left leg back into plank pose. Now, knees down or up, we'll inhale, either shift back to hips on heels or shift back to downward facing dog. And then exhale, come through plank. So you have two options here. We'll have three more rounds. So inhale, shifting the hips back, knees down or up. And exhale, shift forward, either tabletop or plank pose. Twice more. Inhale, shift back. Exhale, forward, shoulders over wrist, whichever option. Inhale, shift back. And exhale, shift forward. Now, from our plank pose, everyone come into plank pose. So if your knees are down, curl the right toes under, curl the left toes under. Let's lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Pedal out your legs in your down dog. Taking time to find some movement that works for you. You can maybe lift one heel, lift the other, drop one shoulder, drop the other. Just find some movement here in your down dog. You can always drop to your knees and pedal out your legs here in your tabletop as well. Just find some movement that works for you. Two more breaths here in your moving down dog. Okay, let's come back to stillness. All meet in down dog. Now we'll shift forward, bring the knees to the mat, bring the tops of the feet to the mat, shift our hips back to our heels, find your child's pose. Resting your forehead on the mat or perhaps on a block towel, arms extend out in front of you. Have your forearms and your palms rest on the mat. And just gently find some space here to ground yourself, taking some nice deep breaths. If you're one that likes to set an intention in your practice, now is a great time to explore that opportunity. Otherwise, you can allow yourself to be open, find that intention to find you, allow that intention to find you throughout practice. Just take two more deep breaths in your child's pose. One more breath here. All right, gently lifting your forehead up, lifting your hips up off your heels, meet back in our tabletop position. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Keep firming those outer upper arms in so the elbow creases face forward. Now, starting with the left leg, keep the left knee where it is, but kickstand the left foot out to the side. So top of the foot, top of that left foot comes out toward the edge of the mat, maybe even off your mat. Now curl the right toes under. Extend the right leg back, knee comes off the mat, and then drop the right heel down so the right toes face the long edge side of the mat. Now open up the chest, bring your right hand to your right hip, stacking the shoulders, stacking the hips, opening up in this modified Vashisthasana. Now extend the right arm to the sky, palm faces forward. Option to stay here or we'll add some dynamic movements. So you inhale at the top, fingertips nice and open. Exhale, send that right arm under and through, dropping the right shoulder. Three more times. So inhale, open, and exhale, under. Twice more. Again, if this is too much, just stay right here in your open. Otherwise, we'll add our twist. Inhale, open. And exhale, twist right arm under and through. And then gently release back through your tabletop, nice and slow. Take a moment to recenter your hips. And we'll switch to the other side. So from our tabletop, kickstand the right leg out. Curl the left toes under, left knee pops up. Drop the left heel down. Open up the chest, stack the shoulders, stack the chest, left hand to left hip to start. Really start to lift and stack. Then bring your left arm up to the sky. Left palm rotates to face forward. Stay here or add our twist. So inhale at the top to prepare. And exhale, lower that left shoulder, send that left arm under and through. Inhale, open. Exhale, under. Twice more. Inhale, open. Exhale, under. Inhale, open. And exhale, under. Gently releasing back through tabletop. Recenter your hips. And we'll push back to Balasana again, child's pose. So knees, tops of the feet to the mat, hips back to the heels, releasing your forehead down to the mat, block or towel. Extend the arms forward. Just take 2 deep breaths here in your Balasana. One more breath. Okay, now lifting your hips up, keep your forearms and your elbows on the mat. We'll come into forearm tabletop. So that means our elbows are directly beneath our shoulders, tops of the feet to the mat. Make sure your knees are below your hips. You may need to walk them back or forward. So forearms, palms pressing into the mat, nice and parallel. Avoid letting your head drop. So shoulders engaged, really firm. Draw the navel in and up. Tailbone still draws down towards the backs of the heels. And notice that this is a variation of our tabletop on our forearms. It gives our wrists a little bit of a break here. So from here, let's explore our cow cats. So on your inhale, drop the navel, heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy, cat pose. Inhaling through your cow. Exhale through your cat. Make sure hips, knees, and tops of the feet are all in one line still as you inhale through your cow. Exhale through your cat. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. All right, back through tabletop. Let's extend the right leg back. Extend the left leg back. So we're now in forearm plank. Now from our forearm plank, then we'll drop our knees down. So releasing your knees down to the mat and just notice that your knees are a little bit farther behind your hips. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat and then shift your hips forward, release your hips to the mat, come into Sphinx pose. So hips are down, make sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders, tops of the feet are to the mat, feet stay hips width distance. Nice gentle back bend here, sending your heart forward, trying to create length in your spine here. Palms and forearms gently press down into the mat and start to lift your chest, send your heart forward. Firm the ankles in. Shoulder blades draw down your back. Chin stays slightly tucked as gaze is forward. Sphinx pose holding for one more breath. And exhale as you gently release your chest down, curl the toes under. Bring your knees back underneath your hips, tops of the feet to the mat. We'll repeat our modified Vashisthasana, this time on our forearms. So start with the left knee, keep it right where it is. Open the top of the left foot out to the side like a kickstand. Curl the right toes under, right knee pops up, drop the right heel down, right toes face to the outside. Now, bring your left wrist to where your right elbow is. So across, left wrist to right elbow. Then you open the chest, bring your right hand to your right hip. So now we have another version of our modified Vashisthasana on our side. Raising the right arm up to the sky, palm faces forward. We'll hold here for a couple breaths. Pressing your forearms down, trying to lift up through your hips. Keep the neck engaged, just an extension of your spine, so chin slightly tucks. If you'd like, you can turn your neck to look up towards those right fingertips. Hold here for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Back to your forearm tabletop. We'll switch to the other side. Make sure your knees are underneath your hips. Kickstand your right foot out to the side. Curl the left toes under. Release the left heel down, toes out to the side. Now right palm comes to the left elbow, opening the chest. Bring those left fingertips to the hips to start. Stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Then bring the left fingertips to the sky. Palm faces forward. Maybe you turn your neck to look up towards those left fingertips. We'll hold here for 2 to 3 breaths, pressing the forearms down. Make sure the neck is engaged, an extension of the spine. Pressing down through the outer edge of that left foot, holding for one more breath. And exhale, gently release back through your forearm tabletop. Pressing up through normal tabletop, so wrists where the elbows are. Let's curl the right toes under, curl the left toes under into plank pose. Then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Hold in your down dog for 3 breaths. Arms are shoulder width distance, feet hips width distance. Firm those outer upper arms in. Elbow creases face forward here. Pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Hold for one more breath. Now inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Stay in your forward fold, feet hips width distance, knees can bend. Let the crown of your head draw down towards the mat. Clasp opposite elbows. Let your ears hang next to your biceps. And if you like, you can gently rock from side to side. Nice slow and controlled movements here. Now switch whichever forearm is on top and keep swaying from side to side. Ragdoll pose for one more breath. All right, coming back to stillness, release the clasp of your elbows. Press down through all 4 corners of your feet. Spin the inner thighs in and back and start to lift up, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Nice, slow and controlled, lifting up to center. Chin is the last thing to arrive. Once you lift all the way up, inhale, bring the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, make sure you're at the top of your mat. Feet are hips width distance, nice and parallel with the arms down by your sides. Palms face forward. Try to draw your tailbone down, lift these frontal hip points up. Kneecaps raise up towards those hip sockets to engage the muscles in the legs with a slight internal rotation of the thighs. Palms face forward, softening the shoulders down away from the ears. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Let's add some movement. Inhale, bring the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, release, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, back up to standing, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Let's add on. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale as you lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. This time, plant your palms, step both feet back into your plank pose. From your plank pose, release your knees to the mat. Shift forward, bend the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat, all in one piece. Bring the tops of the feet down. Press your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift your head up, chest up, baby cobra. Elbows drawing, ankles drawing. Pressing the hips down. Keep the low rib tips on the mat, just the top ribs lift up. Heart draws forward. And exhale as you gently release. Keep the knees down. Curl the toes under. Press yourself up through knees down plank pose. Lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Down dog for 3 breaths. Fingers are nice and spread, pressing down through the base of each finger and each palm. Ankles are behind the center toes, drawing back and down towards the mat. You can have a gentle bend in the knees. Keep pressing the chest back towards the thighs for one more breath. Let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet, back up to standing. Inhale, raise arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. One more time. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale as you lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. Plank pose. Drop your knees down from the outer upper arms in. Inhale as you shift forward. Exhale, lower all the way to the mat. Tops of the feet down, hips down. Inhale, back bend. Elbows draw in. Draw the ankles in. If you like, you can straighten the arms into full cobra. Either way, keep the shoulders over the wrists, sending the heart forward. Exhale as you gently lower. Curl the toes under. Keep the knees down. Press up through knees down. Plank pose. Lifting the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog again for 3 breaths, knowing that vinyasa movement, those couple of poses we string together, we'll be advancing through class. You have the option to advance with me or find whichever works for you along the way and stick with that. You can always skip it and come right to down dog, or if you prefer any other variation, feel free to take that. Now on your inhale, gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk or step towards the top of your mat. Inhale as you lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, back up to standing, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, let's face the long edge side of your mat and separate your feet out nice and wide. So from here, starting our Tadasana pose, just separate the feet out so they'll stay parallel, just to your capacity to be about 1 leg's distance apart. Make sure your heels are still directly behind those center toes. Place your hands to your hips. Use your thumbs to draw your tailbone down, fingers to lift the frontal hip points up. Legs engaged, drawing those kneecaps up towards the hip socket. We'll add a forward fold. So on your inhale, lift the heart out up towards the sky. Exhale, keep that length and send your heart forward, gently lowering. As you hinge forward, once you come about halfway down, you can release your fingertips to the mat, to blocks if you have them. Palms can come down to the mat if you'd like. Chin can slightly tuck, but keep your spine still nice and long. And then if you'd like, you can walk your hands back, keeping the fingers forward. Keep your arms shoulder width distance, so as you walk your hands back, your knees bend, your elbows bend, I should say. Slight bend in the knees if you tend to hyperextend, but shift the weight more so forward into the toes, but keep the heels on the mat. Letting the crown of your head draw down towards the mat. Maybe walk your hands back a little further. Holding for one more breath here. Now we'll add a twist, so we'll walk our hands forward so they're back underneath our shoulders. Lifting your torso up parallel to the mat. Bring your left arm so it's directly underneath your chest. Fingers forward, wrist back. Now right arm comes to the right hip, and then open the right shoulder up to the sky. Add your twist. So we want to keep a nice long spine here, extending straight forward, but dropping the left shoulder, opening the right shoulder up to the sky. If you'd like, you can add on by lifting the right arm up to the sky, palm faces forward, or add a bind, internally rotating that right arm. Back of the right hand comes to the low back, or perhaps it scoops underneath the left thigh. Keep opening the right shoulder wherever you are. Outer hips draw in to maintain stability here. Hold for one more breath in your twist. Maybe your gaze is up towards the sky. And now exhale, release your bind, right arm up to the sky, release the right arm down, recenter back in the middle, and we'll place the right arm this time directly underneath our face. Fingers face forward, wrist back, twisting to the left side this time. So place the left hand to the left hip, inhale as you lengthen through the spine, and exhale, add your twist. So open that left shoulder out to the sky. Option to advance by lifting the left fingertips to the sky, palm faces forward, or if you'd like, internally rotating that left arm. Back of the left hand comes to the low back, or scoops a little farther so that it can come right underneath and inside that right thigh. Either way, keep the length, keep broadening through the collarbones, shoulders draw away from the ears, chin stays slightly tucked, maybe you gaze up towards the sky. Hold here in our twist for one more breath. And exhale, gently release that left arm to meet the right arm. Gently heel toe your feet back into hips with distance. And then inhale as you lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet, back up to standing. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right. Come back to the top of your mat, feet hips width distance, arms down to the side, palms face forward. Press down through all four corners of the feet. Rise up through the crown of your head. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, knees bend, hips back, arms forward, chair pose. Palms face each other. Have your ankles, knees, and hips all in one line. And make sure if you take a peek down toward your toes, you can see them. If not, send your hips back. Now avoid arching or rounding your spine, so draw that tailbone down. Even here, lifting those frontal hip points up. Holding for one more breath. And now exhale as you release into your forward fold. Inhale as you lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Let's plant the palms, step both feet back into your downward facing dog. From your down dog, keep pressing your chest back towards your thighs. And on your inhale, raise the right leg up to hip height. Flex those back toes so the toes face down. Knee faces down as well. Keep pressing your chest back toward your thighs. Now on your inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend the right knee into your chest. Step the right foot up to the top of the mat. Setting up for warrior two. So drop the left heel down. Right toes face forward. Left toes face the long edge side of your mat. From here, right arm to the inside of that right foot. Left arm up to the sky. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift up into your warrior two pose. Settling into your warrior two. So make sure those right toes face forward. Left toes face the long edge side. Shoulders square to the long edge side of the mat, extending the arms straight out into a T, palms face down. Soften the shoulders away from the ears, and turn the neck to look over those right fingertips. Keep drawing the right knee towards the pinky side edge, so the outside edge of that front foot, as you firm that right thigh in and under. Gaze can come over those right fingertips. Hold here for one more breath. Now extended side angle pose, so low body stays just as it is. Send your right arm forward as far as it can go. Let your torso come with you. When you can't go any further, release the right arm to the inside of the right thigh. Left arm up to the sky, palm faces forward. Option to stay here. Next option, release that right arm. Fingertips or palm to the mat or to a block, either to the inside or outside of that front foot. And final option, bring that left arm extended overhead so the left bicep is next to the left ear. Maybe you turn your neck to look underneath that left bicep. Keep firming that front thigh in and under, pressing back to the outer edge of that left foot. Hold for one more breath in your version of your side angle pose. Now press down through your feet. We'll all lift back up into our warrior two. Release the left arm down, right arm up to the sky. And exhale, spiral both arms forward and down to either side of that right foot. Lift up on the back left heel. Send the right foot to meet the left foot. Vinyasa through your way. Knees down or up as you shift forward. Bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Bring the tops of the feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift up into your back bend of choice. Baby cobra, full cobra, just for a half breath. Exhale as you gently release. Curl the toes under. Press your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog for a couple breaths here. Take time to regroup, refine yourself. One more breath here in your down dog. All right, this time we'll shift forward, lower our knees to the mat, bring the tops of our feet to the mat, and then lower to your forearms into your forearm plank. From our forearm plank, we'll extend the right leg back, and then kickstand the left foot out to the side. Dropping the right heel down. Left palm comes where the right elbow is, open up to the side, right hand to right hip. So we've been here before in our Vashisthasana on our forearm. This time we have the option if we'd like to lift that back leg up. Keep the back foot flexed so the toes face the long edge side of the mat and try to lift up through that inner right thigh. If that's too much, just keep that right leg down, but option to lift. Next option, raise the right arm up to the sky, palm faces forward. Really open and broaden through those collarbones. Shoulders draw down your back. Keep lifting up through that inner right thigh. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release that right leg. Release the right arm back into your forearm, tabletop. We'll switch to the other side. Make sure you recenter your hips, knees underneath your hips, elbows underneath your shoulders. So extend the left leg back, curl the left toes under. Kickstand your top of the right foot out to the side. Release the left heel down. Right palms come underneath that left elbow as you open up. Start with your left hand to your left hip. Now, option to stay right here if you'd like. Next option, lift that left leg up to hip height. Flex those back toes. Remember to lift up through that inner left thigh. Next option, add your left arm, fingertips to the sky, palm faces forward. Really open up through the chest. We have 2 slow, deep breaths here. Keep pressing that right forearm and palm into the mat for one more breath. Gently release that left arm back to your forearm tabletop. Come into Sphinx pose, so extend the right leg back, extend the left leg back. Then release the hips to the mat, bring the tops of the feet to the mat. Elbows underneath the shoulders, but your chest is up. Sphinx pose for a couple breaths here. I'm going to send your heart forward. Just allow that low back to release. If you want to give it a little shake, go for it. One more breath in your Sphinx pose. All right, let's curl the toes under. Then lift the hips up. Walk the knees back under to forearm tabletop. Press up through full tabletop. Wrists underneath the shoulders. Send the right leg back, send the left leg back. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk your step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, chair pose. Knees bend, hips back, arms forward, palms face each other. And exhale, hands down through the center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right, with your feet hips width distance, arms down to the side, tree pose. So place your hands to your hips, shift weight into your left foot, bend the right knee, open the right knee out to the side. Options for your tree pose, keep the toes on the mat, bring the bottom of the right foot into that left shin. Or you can lift the toes off the mat, keep them underneath the knee. Or final option, raise them above the knee, bottom of the foot comes into that left thigh. Keep that right knee opening out to the side, but your hips and your shoulders still square forward. Firm this front left thigh in, press down through that inner side, inside of that left foot. Keep drawing the tailbone down, lifting the frontal hip points up. If you'd like, bring your hands to the center of your chest. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Option to add your arms, grow your branches, lift the arms up overhead. Palms face each other, but soften the shoulders down away from the ears. Take 2 deep breaths here. One more breath. Release your hands to the center. Release that right leg. Shake it out. We'll set up for the other side. Hands back to the hips. Feet hips width distance. Nice and parallel. Shifting weight into the right leg this time. Bend the left knee. Open it out to the side. Take your option. Either keep the toes down, lifting, or bring the bottom of that left foot above the knee. Pressing the left foot into that right leg. Nice and gentle. Really firm the front thigh in, pressing down through the inside edge of that right foot. Tailbone draws down, frontal hip points draw up, soften the front bottom ribs, navel draws in and up. If you'd like, bring your hands to the center of your chest. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Option to stay here or grow your branches, arms out and up overhead, palms face each other, and exhale. One more breath here. And exhale, release, bring your hands to the center. Release the leg down, arms down, shake it out. And now from your hips width distance, Open your legs out just slightly wider, shoulder width distance. Keep your ankles in, but slightly open your feet out to the side, coming into Malasana pose. So take a nice deep inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, as you release the hands through center, you'll bend your knees, hips lower into your capacity. So you can stay here in your Malasana if you'd like with your hips up, or you can lower a little more with your elbows to the insides of your knees. If you typically practice with a block or something, you can always sit on that as needed. Just try to keep your entire bottoms of the foot on the mat if you can. So choose whatever variation allows you to do that. We're here for 2 breaths. If you're low here with me and have your elbows to the insides of your knees. Gently draw your knees in as you use your triceps and your elbows to press out. Whatever option you're taking, keep a nice long spine. So imagine a string at the center of your chest, lifting you up towards the sky. Take one more nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, we'll gently lift back up. So wherever you are, begin to straighten your legs, arms down to the sides. Inhale as you bring your arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, coming back to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Feet hips width distance this time, arms down to the sides. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale as you lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, step your right foot back, step your left foot back into plank pose. Now hold in your plank pose. Now, we're setting up for a full Vashisthasana. If you've been practicing with your knees down or taking the lower variation, you have the option to drop down to your knees. Now, knees up or knees down, we'll let the feet fall off to the left side. So the inside of the right foot comes to the mat, the outside of the left foot comes to the mat. From here, we'll bring our right hand to our right hip as we open and stack our shoulders, stack our hips. So taking the variation that works for you. Notice if there's too much strain on your wrist, you can lower back down to your forearms and take the forearm variation. Setting up, taking the time here so the toes face the long edge side of the mat, inside of the right foot, outside of the left foot down. Now try to lift up through the hips wherever you are, and then option to raise the right arm up to the sky, palm faces forward. Whatever option you take, you can rotate the neck to look up towards those left fingertips. Keep lifting up through the hips. Keep the shoulder stack, hip stack, whatever variation you're taking. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release back into your plank pose. Lower your knees to the mat, tops of the feet to the mat. Send your hips back to your heels. Child's pose. Take 2 to 3 breaths in your child's pose. Last breath here. All right, lifting your forehead up, lifting your hips up, back up through tabletop. We'll curl the toes under through plank pose, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now, lift the left leg up and back to hip height, flex the back toes so the toes and the knees face down towards the mat. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, bend the left knee into your chest, step the left foot up to the top of the mat. Setting up for warrior two on this side now. So drop the right heel down. Right toes face the long edge side, left toes face forward. Bring the left arm to the inside edge, right arm up to the sky. Press down through your feet. Inhale as you lift up into your warrior two. Make sure the right toes face the long edge, left toes face the short edge side. Shoulder square to the long edge side of your mat, turning your neck to look over those left fingertips. Palms facing down, shoulders soften down. Keep drawing the bent left knee towards the pinky side edge of that left foot, firming the front thigh in and under. Holding for one more breath. All right, side angle variation. So low body stays just as it is. Send that left arm forward, let the torso come with it. When you can't go any further, release the left arm to the inside of that left thigh. Right arm up to the sky. Rotate that right palm to face forward. Option to stay right here, or you can lower the left fingertips or palm to the mat or a block to the inside or outside of that left foot. Either variation, keep firming that front thigh in and under. Press back through the outer edge of that right foot. If you'd like, you can Extend the arm overhead so the right palm faces down, bicep next to the ear for one more breath. Press down through your feet, lift up through your warrior two. Reverse your warrior, drop the right arm down, left fingertips up to the sky, keep that front knee bent. And then inhale as you lift and spiral both arms to either side of that left foot. Lift up on the back right heel. Send the left foot to meet the right foot. Last vinyasa here. Knees down or up as you shift forward. Bend the elbows, lower all the way or halfway down. Inhale as you lift up through your back bend. Baby cobra, full cobra, or upward facing dog with the knees off the mat. Exhale as you gently release. Curl the toes under. Make your way up and back to downward facing dog. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. All right, from your down dog, you'll gently shift forward, lower to our knees again. Starting in our tabletop position now, we'll set up for Vashisthasana on the other side. So notice if you need to drop to your forearms now or if you need to stay on your knees. If you're taking the full variation, come into plank pose, send your right leg back, send your left leg back. Now, everyone will drop our feet to the right side. So outside of the right foot, inside of the left foot, drop down. As you open your chest, bring your left hand to your left hip. Try to lift up through the inner thighs. And now, option if you'd like, raise that left arm up to the sky, palm faces forward. So again, if this is too much on your wrists or on your arm, you can drop down to your forearms, or you can drop down and do the knee variation where you kick the knee out to the side. Whatever variation you're taking, try to lift up through those through that thigh, through the thighs. Keep the shoulders stacked, keep the collarbones nice and broad, and hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release that left arm down. Release your knees down, bring the tops of your feet to the mat, send your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Take 2 to 3 breaths in your child's pose. You can already start to move your wrists if you'd like, just to loosen them up. One more breath in your child's pose. All right, start to lift your forehead up, walk your hands back, come into our Virasana pose again. With your knees bent, hips on your heels, either place a block or just come into a cross-legged seat. Just a little bit of wrist work, so let's interlace the fingers again. Bring the wrist to touch, elbows up, and start to move in your first direction. May have been a lot of wrist work, so let's just get an extra stretch in before we wrap up today. All right, slow it down. Let's move in the opposite direction. All right, remember which thumb is on top, slow it down. Release your fingers, re-interlace, opposite thumb on top, wrists together, elbows up. Rotate in your first direction. Nice, slow and controlled here. And slow it down, move in the opposite direction. All right, nice and slow, release your arms down. Now send your legs off to the side, and the legs come out in front of you. We'll set up for a twist here. So with the arms down by the side, extend the legs forward, knees slightly bent, flexing the feet back towards your body. Now draw the right knee into your chest. Bottom of the right foot comes to the mat. Option for the right foot to be inside or outside of that left knee. Just make sure the entire bottom of the right foot can stay on the mat. Now keep flexing the left toes to draw them back toward your face and press down through that right big toe to keep that right foot rooted. Release the right fingertips behind. Inhale as you lift the left arm up to the sky. And exhale, add your twists. Twist from the navel up, bringing that left elbow to the outside of that right knee. Use your inhales to lengthen and exhales to twist. Keep drawing that right shoulder back. See if you can get a little lighter on those right fingertips using your abdominal muscles to add your twist. Keep you stable here. Keep flexing those left toes, drawing them back toward your face. Maybe you turn your neck to look over the right shoulder for one more breath. And gently release back through center, extend both legs forward, shake them out a little bit, setting up for the other side. All right, this time with your right leg forward, bend the left knee into your chest, left foot to the inside or outside of that right foot. Releasing the left fingertips behind. Inhale, send the right fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, add your twist, twisting from the navel up. Right elbow to the outside of that left knee. Make sure your right toes are flexed, drawing them back towards your face, pressing down through the left big toe, either inside or outside of that right knee. Drawing the left shoulder back using your inhales to lengthen through your spine, and exhales to twist. 2 more breaths here. Again, drawing that left shoulder back. Maybe you turn your neck to look over the left shoulder. And on your exhale, gently release back through center. Now, both arms to either side of the hips. Press down through your hands. Bend your knees. Lift your hips up closer to your heels so you're up towards the top of your mat. Hold on to your shins or your thighs. We'll gently lower onto our spines. Nice, slow, and controlled. Keep the knees bent. Release the bottoms of the feet so the ankles are underneath the knees, setting up for 2 bridge pose here. Start with the arms down by the sides, palms face, palms pressed down, forearms pressed down. Press down through all 4 corners of the feet. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up, bridge pose. In your bridge pose, make sure you spin the inner thighs in and down to keep the knees over the heels, and draw the tailbone towards the backs of the knees to keep the spine nice and long. Pressing the forearms and the triceps and the palms into the mat. Lift a little bit higher for one more breath. And exhale, gently lower from the top of your spine, middle of the back, low back, last to arrive. Let the knees touch, heel toe the feet out to the width of the mat. Stay here for a breath or two, and we'll have the option to have one more back bend of choice if you want to repeat that bridge pose. If you want to make it more restorative, you can place a block or a pillow underneath your low back, or you can advance by interlacing the fingers underneath your back. All right, setting up. So bring the knees and the feet back to hips width distance, arms down to the side, feet nice and parallel. Press down through your feet. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up, bridge pose. Option to stay here. You can place an object underneath your sacrum, or if you want to rotate your triceps under, interlace the fingers, bring the wrist to touch, try to straighten the arms, and then draw the pinkies towards the mat. Whatever option you're taking, keep spinning those inner thighs in and down. Tailbone draws towards the backs of the knees. Keep the spine nice and long as you lift up for one more breath. Exhale as you gently release the arms out, release from the top of the spine, middle of the back, low back, last to arrive. Once you've lowered, bring the knees together, separate the feet out to the width of the mat again, extend the arms out to a T shape, palms face up, and then gently let your knees rock from side to side. All right, the next time your knees are off to the right side, stay there. You have the option to place the outside of your right ankle on top of the left thigh, just to deepen the stretch here. And final option, turn your neck to look over the left fingertips. Full spinal twist here. Allow yourself to settle and to deepen into the stretch. Now's the time to let gravity do the work here. Holding for one more breath. All right, if you have it, release the right ankle from the left thigh. Gaze comes back up to center. Bring your knees back up through center. So knees touch, feet are still wide. And then let your knees drop off to the left side. Switching to the other side, same option if you'd like. Outside the left ankle on top of the right thigh. And then turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Stay here for 3 to 4 slow, deep breaths. Two more breaths here. All right, inhale as you gaze forward. Release the ankle from the thigh. Bring your knees back up through center. Knees and feet back to hips width distance. Let's bend the knees into your chest. Give them a nice gentle squeeze. Wrapping your hands around your shins or your thighs. Let's draw the back of the head and the shoulders off the mat. Drawing the knees into the chest. Come into an egg shape. Try and squeeze everything together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for one more breath. And exhale, extend. Extend the legs long, extend the arms long overhead. Point the toes away from the body, extend the fingertips nice and long, full body stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, release. Arms down to the sides, palms face up. Let the knees and the feet fall out to the side. Settle into your final pose of your practice today, Shavasana. If you prefer any other variation, perhaps with your knees bent, bottoms of the feet touching, letting your knees fall out to the side. Whatever variation of Shavasana you choose, just allow yourself to settle here. This is a time to find ease, a time to release any last little bits of tension you may have in your body. Always have the option to soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. Just allow yourself to find peace in this moment. Okay, let's begin to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Re-stretching out your legs if your knees were bent. Rotating your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. Now come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. Now gently start to bend your knees in towards your chest as you roll over to one side of your body. Let your legs stack, arms stack. Stay for a breath here on your side. Now try to keep your eyes softened as you use your top arm to press yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged seat to complete your practice today. From your cross-legged seat, you can rest your palms on tops of your knees. Palms can face up or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together and exhale. Thank you for joining me for your practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really appreciate you being here. Looks like the stream was nice and smooth today. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you got a nice little core and arm workout. Really opened up the shoulders and the chest here and really worked on stabilizing through that core. So you should be definitely proud for making it through class today. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you're feeling great. If you ever have any questions, you can always let me know. I appreciate Ellen, you checking in on the chat today. I know I mentioned I might do some breath work, but we ran out of time, so we'll save that for next class. But if you do have any questions, you can always let me know. There's ways to reach out to me in the video description, or you can always leave a comment. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Take this feeling into the rest of the week and into the weekend, and I will see you next time. So again, thank you so much. Take care and peace.